Hey, how's it going? It is your muscle building coach, Lee Hayward, and right now I'm doing a live video Q&A. So I'm just getting things underway right now. For those of you who are watching this live, can you please just give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section if this video is coming through loud and clear, if you can hear me and see me and everything else. I had a little bit of a technical difficulty when starting up. I'm not going to get into all the mumble jumble, but I normally do these live video chats through my desktop computer. And then when I went to, start that up, it had to run through a whole bunch of updates and it's still doing it. So I said, you know what, I'm not going to delay the video chat any longer. So I went and tried to set it up on the laptop computer and had some browser issues, right? So bottom line, I'm running this now through a browser that I normally don't use. And I just want to make sure that it's coming through loud and clear and that you can hear me and see me and all that good stuff before I get into actually answering your questions. So just give me a second now. I'm just going to make sure that that's coming through loud and clear. So just give me a second now. I'm just going to make sure. All right. Okay, I think it is. All right, I can see the video chat coming through. Thank you for that. All right, good stuff. All right, so what I'm going to do now is basically just answer any questions that you may have with regards to bodybuilding, fitness, building muscle, losing fat, any specific challenges that you're dealing with. Feel free to post those in the video chat, and I'll do my best to help you out in any way that I can. Just while I'm waiting for some questions to come through, I just want to kind of give a little update on how things are going from my end. I know I haven't made any YouTube videos in the last couple weeks, and I do apologize for that. I try to post at least, a couple videos a week, and I ended up going, 2 to 3 weeks, I think, without even posting a single video. And I just got caught up with day-to-day stuff, outside of the whole online stuff, in the real world, if you will. I own and manage several rental properties. And right now we're going through some renovations for one of my rental apartments, and that's been taking up a lot of my time. And in addition to that, I've got a new baby at home. I mean, those of you who have been following me for a while know that I've got a 16-month-old son, and of course he's very active, very busy, and takes priority over a lot of things, including making videos, unfortunately. So trying to juggle work and family and everything else, it kind of gets in the way sometimes with making videos. So I do apologize for that, and I'm going to do my best to try and be more frequent with videos. And even if I can't schedule, a proper workout video or something like that, then hey, if I got time, I'll throw on a video chat like this so I can stay in touch with you and, answer some questions that you have in this, just off the cuff live video chat format, which I really enjoy. So let's just jump back into our questions and comments coming through here. We've got several people joining us, just saying hi, how are you doing? Let's see what we got here. Rui is joining us, Chris is joining us, Stephen, Sean, Johan, Ingels, I might be pronouncing your name wrong, Adaptive Android, Cam's CJam16 joining us from England. Pilot Speed Stevens. Okay. We've got Sani from New Zealand. A lot of people. We've got a whole international audience here. Wow, that's awesome. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to get into some questions here now. Comio 325 says, Lee, your thoughts on recomping by getting stronger on maintenance calories? All right, that's an interesting question. And basically what it is my thoughts on how can you go about building muscle and losing body fat simultaneously. So rather than going through a bulk up phase and then a cutting phase, simply try and eat maintenance calories and build a leaner physique, a leaner, more muscular physique that way. And I think for the majority of people, that is probably a better way of going about it. Because one of the drawbacks when you go through a traditional bulking, cutting phase is when you bulk up, a lot of times you end up gaining excess body fat along with the lean muscle. Then when you go to cut afterwards, depending on how you do it, if you do it wrong, then you're going to lose some lean muscle along with the body fat. A better approach for most people, and when I say most people, I'm talking about your average gym trainer. You know, I'm not talking about like a high level athlete. I'm not talking about like a competitive bodybuilder or anybody who's beyond, you know, the basics and is following some specialized training program. I mean, in specialized situations, then, you know, they're going to follow something different and unique based on their individual situation. But for the average guy who wants to get bigger, lose fat, get stronger, just, you know, look and feel better, which is 99% of the people you see in the gym, I recommend keeping your diet pretty close to maintenance calories. I mean, if you want to try and gain some weight, you can tip the scale a little, you know, like a few hundred calorie surplus, or if you want to try and burn some extra body fat, you can have like a few hundred calorie deficit, but nothing drastic. It doesn't have to be drastic to make progress. What you want to focus on is clean, wholesome nutrition. You know, quality foods, quality sources of protein, complex carbohydrates, lots of vegetables. That's one of the things a lot of people neglect is their vegetables. And healthy fats, especially the omega-3 fatty acids. You want to focus on the basic foods, just good, natural, wholesome nutrition, and being consistent with that. And when it comes to your workouts, focus on your athletic performance. And what I mean by that is, if you can make progress in your workouts, meaning you're getting stronger, you're increasing your work capacity, you're improving your endurance, and across the board, not just in weight training, but all areas, you know, try and make some form of progress with your workouts. And again, this is for generalized, I guess, what you would consider total fitness bodybuilding, not talking about experienced athletes or powerlifters or bodybuilders. I'm talking about the average guy who wants to improve his strength and fitness level. Focus on your performance in the gym. So have some benchmarks that you're working on improving. You know, it could be your strength, it could be your endurance, and little areas like that. And as long as you are seeing some form of progression in terms of your fitness, as well as sticking to that clean diet, then inevitably you're going to build muscle and burn body fat. But try not to focus on the scale or the body fat calipers too much. I mean, yeah, take your measurements and weigh yourself and everything else, but then put that to the side and just focus on being consistent with those daily habits, the daily habits of sticking to your diet, the daily habits of sticking to your workout routine, and just making progress. And what you'll find is over the course of several weeks, you'll see your body changing, even if you're not purposely focusing on it. And that's what I really like. I like it when you can just get into the habit of living that healthy lifestyle. Again, the diet, the training, and the consistency, and then let the process work for you. So when you come back and measure your body weight and your body fat percentage and everything else, and your measurements, say like, you know, several weeks down the road, then all of a sudden, whoa, you see some measurable progress. But if you're the impatient type and you're always like every other day breaking out the calipers and breaking out the measuring tape and everything else and trying to, you know, see progress too soon, it really doesn't work that way. It's a longer term process, but as long as you focus on the basics and the habits, then it will work for you. So yeah, I do agree with trying to, I guess, recomp rather than bulk and cut, this whole recomp idea for the majority of people. Okay, let's see what we got here. So again, thanks for that question. We have Jones joining us, Sean's joining us, I can't pronounce it, Woodulos says loud and clear, the Northman. Okay, we got a lot of people joining us. That's awesome, guys. Thanks for your support. Okay, we got Hammers says, hi, coach. Hammers from Morocco. If we stop using protein and stuff, what would happen? Well, I'm not sure what you mean by that. I mean, protein and stuff. I guess you mean supplements. When it comes to protein supplements, we got to really look at the bigger picture. you don't need protein supplements if you're getting adequate protein from your diet. Unlike what the magazine advertisements try and preach, protein supplements are not absolutely necessary in order to make progress. What is necessary is a good, solid diet. And as long as you're getting adequate protein from your diet in the form of like animal protein, like meat, fish, chicken, eggs, dairy, that kind of stuff, plant-based protein, beans and legumes, plant-based, protein sources and that nature, nuts and seeds, it all adds up. I know a lot of people don't think, plant-based protein is as good as animal-based protein, but it all helps. So, look at the total. So as long as you're getting enough total protein from all your different food sources, and the good benchmark that you want to strive for is that 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body weight per day. As long as you're in that benchmark, that range, and you're averaging that consistently, then you really don't need protein supplements as long as you're doing that. Now, personally, I like to include protein supplements with my diet for variety. And it's convenient for times when you don't have, time to prepare a high protein meal or cook or whatever. You can just whip up a shake or have something like that. But it's also nice for variety because you can get more creative. Like, for example, I might have high protein oatmeal. Normally oatmeal is just a source of complex carbohydrates, but you can throw in some protein powder with it. And now all of a sudden you have a protein and carbohydrate meal. Or maybe I'll get creative and make like high protein pancakes or high protein blender smoothies and use the protein powder that way to just add to these foods that I would normally be eating otherwise. So it's good in that sense, but is it absolutely necessary? By no means. All you really need is a good solid diet and consistency in the gym. And as long as you're meeting that, then you can still make progress. A lot of people don't even consider protein powder a supplement. A lot of them just consider it another source of high protein food. And that's kind of the approach that I take to it. I really don't, look at it as a supplement. It's just another source of food. Like, okay, I can buy meat, I can buy chicken, I can buy eggs and dairy, and I can buy protein powder. It's just another item on the grocery list, if you will. It's not really anything magical, and it doesn't have any special properties over and above what you would get through other sources of protein. Okay, let's see what we got here. Joan's got a question saying, she says, I'm a little belly fat, probably extra skin. How can I get rid of what ab workouts? Okay, she wants to know how to get rid of belly fat through ab workouts. It really doesn't work that way. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing abdominal workouts to work the abdominal muscles, but if you want to get rid of the excess body fat, you really need to look at the big picture of what's going on. And that comes to your diet, your training, both weight training and cardiovascular, and you need to be in a caloric deficit in order to tap into burning stored body fat for fuel. So rather than just trying to isolate it and say, okay, I got excess fat around my stomach, I want to do, ab workouts to lose it, it really doesn't work that way. What you need to do is burn more total calories in general and lose the body fat that way. So what I would recommend, some simple tips. First off, when it comes to your diet, natural unprocessed foods, kind of like what I mentioned before, lean protein, complex carbohydrates, lots of fruits and veggies, and healthy fat. Make sure that you're eating the basics. If there's anything in your diet that is not supporting you, sweets, junk food, certain things that you don't need to be eating, then try and gradually cut that out or minimize it and make better food choices. When it comes to your workouts, you need to focus on total body training. So, when it comes to your strength training, not just working the abdominals, but working all your major muscle groups. Now, there's all kinds of different programs you can follow, and depending on your fitness level, you can choose from a basic beginner's total body workout to a full-on body part split routine. If you're looking for a basic beginner's workout, I have one right on my main YouTube channel. It's a total body workout for beginners. That's a good place to start. And when it comes to cardiovascular exercise, you don't need to make it overly complicated. I mean, it could be as simple as getting outside and going for a walk. You know, you could use one of those apps that you can get on your phone, right? You know, these apps that track your steps, and simple things like try and shoot for 10,000 steps a day by walking. And I mean, as simple as that is, I know it's not glamorous and glorious. It's not like some high intensity interval training or something that, you know, a lot of people think is, you know, super duper. But as simple as it is, walking 10,000 steps a day, if you did that consistently, you would be amazed at how much body fat you would lose over the course of several months of doing that. I mean, it's simple, but it works. And, you know, that's all it really takes. And I mean, when it comes to the abdominal workouts, yeah, you want to work the ab muscles to build strength and tone in those muscles, but that's not what's going to burn the fat. You need to be in a caloric deficit and basically burn more calories than you consume over the course of the day in order to tap into that stored body fat. So again, you know, hopefully that helps. And if you want to follow that total body beginners program, just head on over to my main YouTube channel, and it should be right there in like a beginner's workout playlist right on the homepage. All right. You know, some people are saying, hey, people are asking stupid questions. Hey, when it comes to these video chats and stuff like that, I don't really believe that there's a stupid question. You know, I mean, we're all at different levels. Some people are more advanced than others. Some people are just getting started. We know everybody is at a different level. So if you have a question that's bothering you, or you know, you're wondering about, hey, go ahead, ask it. I try and have this kind of supportive, non-judgmental environment here. So if you have a question that you want to ask, go ahead and ask it. I really don't care. I mean, I'm here to try and help you out. And if I don't know the answer, I'll try and point you in the right direction where you can find your answer. But I really don't believe that there is a stupid question. So to the person who made that comment, I don't really agree with that. Okay, let's see what else we have here. What do you think of the supplement DHEA? Worth the money or a crock? If a lot of supplements are a crock. Now, as far as DHEA, if you are deficient in that, and if you're older, sometimes supplements like that can help. But what I would rather someone do, instead of trying to self-medicate yourself with supplements that manipulate your hormones, especially if you are in that range where like you're probably in your 40s and older, and you're looking for supplements to help you maintain, you know, youthful hormone levels. What I would recommend is actually checking with your doctor, get some blood work done, see where your hormones are at, get all the hormones tested. Because a lot of times if you go to your doctor and just get, you know, regular blood work, they're not even testing your hormones. They're just testing, you know, your cholesterol and your blood sugar and certain health markers that they deem critical, but they're not probably testing your testosterone and your growth hormone levels and things like that. So go to your doctor or go to a hormone replacement specialist and get a full blood work done of your hormones and see where you're at. And if you are deficient in any areas, like be it testosterone, growth hormone, thyroid, or whatever, then you can look into hormone replacement therapy as an option. And I know a lot of guys who are mature, and what I mean by mature is 40 plus, who are looking into that route and have used it. And a lot of them found it to be very helpful. Because obviously as you age, your body's natural hormone levels decline, and supplements may help in some cases, but in a lot of cases it's not enough, and you may need some, you know, full-on hormone replacement therapy. So again, I'm not going to say that it's a crock or whatever, but it really depends on the individual. And the most important thing I would recommend is, if you're concerned about this, go get your blood work done and actually see where your hormone levels are. Next one, this one, DLFRGV. I don't know how to pronounce that, but that's the name. Saying, what are your thoughts on SARMS? I really don't have any opinions on SARMS. It's something that I haven't used personally, so I can't really comment on it. That's kind of outside my area of expertise. So I'll just leave it at that. Okay. Second, now I'm just flicking through the comments. I lost my space here. Okay. Mora Krebs. I think they sent $2 through the super chat, and if that is you, I do appreciate it. Hey, every dollar helps, so thank you very much for that. I do appreciate it. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them, and I'll try my best to answer them. So thank you again for the support. Rice Bowls 978 says, my hip shifts to the left when I barbell squat, low bar. How can I fix this? That could be tricky. There's a lot of things that could be an issue there. I mean, it could be just your joint structure. It could be related to hip mobility issues. There's a lot of things that can go on with why your hips would shift when you squat. You said when you do a low bar squat. I mean, you get the same thing if you do a high bar squat. If not, then maybe try doing high bar squats instead. You could even try doing your squats with a Smith machine or something like that. Unless you're a competitive power lifter who has to do a certain exercise like a low bar squat, I try not to get too hung up on the particular exercises and focus instead on working your body. Because not every exercise works well for everybody. I mean, some people respond really good to squats. Some people don't. And it's not, there are no must-do exercises. I mean, if you're the type of person that can't do squats, or you find, you have issues, and in your case, your hips kind of shift to one side or the other, or it just doesn't feel right, then you don't have to do it. You can find another exercise variation to do instead. I mean, maybe that's a hack squat. Maybe that's squatting in the Smith machine. Maybe that's doing leg presses, or maybe it's doing various lunge variations instead, in addition to like leg extensions and leg curls for overall leg workout. But again, you don't have to do any particular exercise, even if it's, one of the three big lifts, the squat, bench, or deadlift. I mean, if you have problems with them, then, you don't always have to do them. You can find other exercise variations to do instead. With that being said, though, I do have a video about hip mobility that you might want to check out. If you just go to YouTube and do a search for Lee Hayward hip mobility, you should find it. And it's a simple little like stretching and mobility exercise routine that you can do at home. And some of these exercises will help to strengthen and increase your flexibility and mobility in the hips, and it may help to carry over to improving your squat as well. So like I say, you might want to give that a try, and like I say, also probably experiment with different leg exercise variations and see if you can find some moves that are more comfortable for you and your body type. All right, let's see what else we got here. Sean is joining us, Sean Proctor, Lamont Tyson. Lamont is saying, hey, Lee, I follow you and want to know if you would let me as a YouTuber come interview you. That's something we can discuss. If you want to discuss the possibility of an interview, send me a private message or send me an email through my website, and we can discuss that. John is joining us, saying it come through loud and clear. Let's see what else we got. BG Mez, I can't pronounce all these names. BGMEPHISTO, B Mephisto. Hey coach, I went from lifting with a spotter for about a year or so. Was making solid gains in strength. I've since moved and been lifting by myself. I have a fear to push heavier weights. You know what? For powerlifting purposes, having a spotter is kind of a must. I won't say it's a must. I mean, you can still train without one, but it certainly is a huge asset if you have a spotter to train with. But you can train from a bodybuilding fitness point of view by yourself without a spotter. If you use like the power rack, you use like Smith machine with safety pins or something of that nature, some sort of safety cage, you can still train heavy enough to stimulate gains. And a lot of people kind of take the pushing themselves to failure and beyond type thing overboard. I mean, when it comes to your big compound lifts, your big barbell lifts. A lot of times you don't need to push yourself beyond failure. I mean, simply repping to positive failure or even stopping a rep shy of failure is more than enough. I mean, I know some very advanced bodybuilders, I'm talking like high level, national level competitors who train by themselves, even some pro bodybuilders as well. And, when they're bench pressing, they don't rep out to failure to the point where, okay, the barbell's stuck on their chest and they got to get someone to deadlift the barbell off their chest and stuff like that. Or when they're squatting, they don't squat to the point where they're stapled down at the bottom and they got to get people to peel the bar off them and help them stand up. They stop before failure. They rack the weight on their own more often than not. And these are, again, very high level advanced bodybuilders who training by themselves, making all kinds of gains, as they say, making all kinds of gains and just racking the weights on their own. So, I mean, you don't always have to have a spotter there to assist you with like forced reps and pushing yourself to, failure and beyond. It's okay to stop yourself short of failure and still make progress and still train in a progressive overload fashion in that range, just stopping yourself that, one rep shy of failure and racking the weight on your own. So, you can still make progress training by yourself, but with that being said, if you do find some compatible workout partners who would like to train with you, then by all means, I wouldn't turn that down either, because having a good motivated training partner can help to take your progress to a higher level, because you can kind of feed off each other's motivation and enthusiasm. And a lot of times when it comes to training, if we know that we have to be at the gym, we make an appointment. We make an appointment. We're going to work out together, on this day at this time. Boom. It's kind of, more concrete, and it kind of forces you to show up and do your thing. Whereas if you're working out by yourself, sometimes you can get lazy and slack and say, yeah, I'm not going to train today. I'll do it another day. But a lot of times when you have a partner, it can really help to push you and help you to get off your ass when you need to get off your ass sometimes. And we all get into that situation where we need an extra push from time to time. All right, let's move on. We got Grant is joining us. Welcome. CJam16. How can one become a good PT? I'm assuming you mean personal trainer. What are the best qualities to have? And once qualified, how do you attract clients asking for a friend? That's a loaded question. First off, when it comes to being a good personal trainer, you have to have a passion for whatever it is you're doing. I mean, if it's bodybuilding or fitness or particular sports or whatever area that you want to get into training, you have to have a passion for it. I mean, if you're not passionate and you're just doing it as a job, that's going to come through. I mean, we all know people who are working a job just for the paycheck and they don't really like what they're doing. It's just, again, they're doing it just because, hey, they need to put food on the table, and it's whatever job just happens to be that they're doing. You don't want to be that way with personal training, because your clients and everybody around you will be able to sense that something's not right. If you're just doing it because you think, hey, you can make good money as a personal trainer, but you really don't give a shit about your clients and you really don't give a shit about bodybuilding and fitness, and it's not a deep passion of yours, that will come through. So one, if you want to be a good trainer, you have to be passionate about it. You have to live the lifestyle. You have to work out yourself. You have to enjoy it. You have to have a track record of some sort behind you. Now, I'm not saying you got to be a competitive bodybuilder or a professional or anything like that, but you have to live the life. You're right. Another question there. How do you attract clients? That's, again, a loaded question, and it really depends on what you're trying to do. The best thing that I would suggest for someone who's brand new, work at the gym. Go to whatever gym is in your area and get a job at the gym, even if it's just starting off working the front desk or mopping the floors or something or another. But getting yourself around the gym and trying to see the gym from the business side of things will really help to give you that knowledge that you need to be a trainer. There's a lot of books and videos and tutorials out there. I mean, you can start searching. There's a lot of stuff out there about starting your own personal training business. Again, read and try and educate yourself the best you can. you know, that's all I'm going to say for now, because again, it's such a loaded question and there's so much that we can go into. But those are some of the basics that I would say would come into play to being a good personal trainer. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. We got Phillips joining us. Says, I started working out in January. Can I see results by April? Well, technically, yes. I mean, depending on how you're measuring your results, you can see results very quickly. Are they going to be the type of results that you necessarily want? Maybe not. When it comes to building muscle, burning fat, and changing your body, a lot of people overestimate how hard the process is going to be, but they underestimate how long it's going to take. You know, a lot of people start working out with the goal of, okay, I want to lose 30 pounds in 30 days, or some sort of, get ripped quick approach, especially, the New Year's resolution. And, we're bombarded with that kind of crap where people, lose weight quickly, whatever type of fad diet or fad training program type of thing. When you lose weight quickly, it rarely ever lasts. If you want long-term lasting results, it has to be a lifestyle approach, not just some sort of quick fix solution. The quick fix solution rarely ever lasts long-term. So you need to really make some fundamental lifestyle habit changes so that whatever you were doing to cause you to get out of shape in the first place, you change those habits and you make them so that they are helping you to move yourself in the right direction towards your goals in the future. If you want some help with this, I actually started a new coaching program this year, and it is all about fitness and lifestyle coaching. So rather than the whole, get ripped quick approach, which, there is a time and a place for the get ripped quick approach, like someone who's getting ready for a bodybuilding competition or a photo shoot or something short term, like sometimes you see actors want to get in shape for a role or something like that. So sometimes the more extreme get ripped quick approach does have its place. But for the average person who wants to improve their overall health and fitness and not just lose weight, but keep it off and maintain the results long term, then you need to make lifestyle changes, not just go on some crazy restrictive diet for a few weeks or a few months in order to hit a peak and then go back to the way you were before. So if you are interested in that and you want some help with it, then just head on over to my website, leehayward.com. And I offer, customized diet and training programs. And like I say, you can send me a message if you want, and I can probably, help you out with your individual situation and whatever it is that you're actually trying to achieve. All right, let's move on. Let's see. The Northman is joining us, and he says, I'm 42, losing fat and building muscle. Should I consider using a test booster? I kind of touched on this topic in one of the previous questions. Someone was asking about DHEA. Before you go out and consider a testosterone boosting supplement, I would recommend getting your blood work done and actually see where your testosterone levels are. If they're in the normal range or maybe even like a low normal range, then some sort of testosterone boosting supplement may help to put you into the higher normal range. If you're actually in the low range, based on blood work, then very often a supplement might not be enough to, correct the problem, and you may need to look into other forms of hormone replacement therapy. But first thing, before you start dabbling with it and, saying, hey, I'm going to try this supplement or that supplement and kind of self-medicate yourself, get your blood work done and actually see where your hormone levels are. That's what I would recommend, for all guys who are 40 plus, because as you get in your 40s and 50s and beyond, your hormone levels they're just continuously dropping from that point on. And, if you want to maximize your results, obviously maximize your muscle building, fat burning, and just your overall strength, energy, and, quality of life, then your hormonal levels do come into play. So yeah, get your blood work done first, and then, make some appropriate decisions based on that. All right, we got Chris joining us. Chris Roden says, when should you increase the weight and how to go about it? For example, my 1 rep max is 95 kilos on the bench. I can do 78% 5 by 5 comfortably, approximately 75 kilograms. A lot of these formulas, like, okay, your 1 rep max, and you break out a calculator or you go online and you search for different strength formulas. They're just a rough general estimate based on the average person. It's not necessarily personalized to you. Some people will be stronger or weaker depending on their muscle fiber makeup. For example, if you have more fast twitch muscle fibers, then you'll probably be able to handle heavier weights, lower reps, and lift more in that range than you would according to whatever 1 rep max calculator that you're using. And other people who have more slow twitch muscle fibers will probably be able to handle lighter weights for higher reps and more of that muscular endurance, and be more proficient in that area. So again, we're all going to have a different range to go about it. But the bottom line, when should you increase your weights? You should do it when you are following a set program. Okay, like you mentioned, the 5 by 5 program. Now, there are different variations of 5 by 5 programs. A lot of them actually have progression built into them. For example, like Bill Starr's 5 by 5 program, which is one of the old school famous versions of 5 by 5. That has progression built into it. But bottom line, let's just say you're doing an exercise, bench press, and you can do all 5 sets of 5 reps with good form by yourself, no assistance from a spotter. You feel strong with the weight. Then I would consider increasing the weight by 5 pounds for your next workout, or a couple kilos or whatever. I would rather you make small, frequent jumps in weight rather than trying to make big jumps in weight. So, like right now, okay, you're lifting 75 kilos for 5 by 5. Depending on what size weight plates you have, if you can, even literally just add 1 or 2 kilos to the barbell for your next workout. So if you're doing 5 by 5 with 75 kilos, try 5 by 5 with 76 kilos or 77, whatever the smallest increment that you have available at your gym. And if you want, you can even buy these micro plates, which are small mini weight plates that you can use for making these small jumps in weight. And they would be a huge advantage because it's much easier and safer to make smaller jumps in weight than it is to make big jumps. One of the mistakes that a lot of people make is, okay, they'll do a certain exercise for a weight. And for example, in your case, you're doing 75 kilograms. And then they'll say, well, I'm going to increase the weight, and they'll slap on 85 kilograms to the barbell and try to do it, which is, too much too soon. Trying to make big jumps in weight is just opening the door for injury. It's too much too soon. You're much better off just taking little tiny baby steps frequently. And if you do that, then you can, train more consistently, less risk of injury, and you'll actually, over the long term, make better strength gains because of it. So small little jumps in weight when you are able to handle the particular exercise set and rep pattern that you're doing now with good form by yourself and no help from a spotter. Okay, let's move on. We have Moises Escobar, I think. If I'm mispronouncing your name, I do apologize. But the question is, Lee, what's a good way to increase your squat? I've been stuck on 315 for a while now, and I've tried many different programs. That can be a challenging one. First off, what I would, before you go worrying about different programs and stuff like that, work on your technique. I actually have a video called the Squat Critique Technique. If you go search YouTube for Lee Hayward squat technique video, you should find it. That's where I kind of break down a proper squat technique. Now, that's for a high bar squat. I mean, it depends on what style of squat you're doing. But work on your technique and videotape yourself squatting and watch yourself from that third-person perspective. It's amazing what you will learn when you watch yourself on video, and try and get different angles of the exercise so that you can see, where your form may be breaking down. A lot of people you know, if you're just watching yourself in the mirror when you're doing your exercise, you may have a flawed sense of what your form actually looked like. And then when you see yourself on video from that third person perspective, you're all like, whoa, I didn't realize, you know, my back was rounding so much, or I didn't realize I wasn't going as deep, or, you know, certain things, you know, maybe you notice, okay, you have butt wink when you squat or something like that, that you normally wouldn't ever notice by just looking at yourself in the mirror. So it's good to do that. And that can really help to critique your form. And you may find some areas that need improvement. But as far as, you know, strategies for increasing your strength, I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do. But one of the things that I would suggest is, if you've tried different squat programs and you're always, you know, hitting a plateau and getting stuck, then focus on getting stronger in other areas. So getting stronger in other exercises besides the squat. Some things that you might even want to work on are like single limb leg exercises, like lunges and step ups and split squats and different things like that. Getting stronger with good mornings, getting stronger, you know, what are some other ones I'm just trying to think of that would really help you with your squats, front squats, getting stronger with, you know, different squat variations that way. By doing that, you'll build up your overall strength, and you may help to strengthen the weak areas that are holding you back in your squat right now. I've got a video that you might want to check out. It's actually, it's a whole playlist. It's single limb training. And if you go to my main YouTube channel and just open up the playlists and go through, it's single limb training. And it's a whole workout video series covering single limb exercises for all your major muscle groups. And you can go specifically to the single limb leg workout. And they're all different exercise variations that work each leg independently. And I find that that is probably one of the best things that you can do for improving your strength in some of your barbell lifts, because it helps to work out any imbalances that you may have from side to side. And it helps to build up stabilizer and supporting muscles that you sometimes don't hit when doing barbell lifts. So if you're stuck with your squat and you're kind of like, I've tried everything and I don't know where to go, that's what I would focus on. Getting stronger in other supporting exercises and focusing on some single limb exercises. And I think if you did that for several weeks, say like for the next 6 to 8 weeks, then when you come back to your squat and you know, really work on it again, you should hopefully be able to, you know, bust past your current personal record and hopefully set a new PR as well. Okay, Carter's joining us, and he says, Lee, can you give me some good exercises for the traps? I seem to be falling behind. Some of the good exercises for traps are not the typical, you know, like most people think of shrugs, and obviously shrugs are a good trap exercise, but there's a lot of different exercises that you can do. One that I like is to work the whole upper back area is face pulls. Now, a lot of people kind of think of this as like a rear delt exercise, but it's really an entire upper back exercise. I like to do face pull variations. And again, I've got videos on this. Do a YouTube search, Lee Hayward face pull, and you should see it. I have some videos showing that. Another one that's really good for building up your traps is farmer's walk. You know, that's a great exercise. And if you want to make it more intense, you can use straps, lifting straps, to help reinforce your grip and carry heavier dumbbells when you're doing the farmer's walk. So this will help to overload the traps and all the stabilizing and supporting muscles throughout your body as you're doing the exercise. But those are some good ones. If you are doing shrugs, another variation that you might want to look into is doing dumbbell shrugs rather than barbell shrugs. Dumbbell shrugs not only is going to distribute the workload equally between the left and right sides, but it provides a different, more natural range of motion, because you have your arms at your sides rather than holding a barbell out in front of you. And I think you'll probably find that more beneficial. I know when I'm doing shrugs, I find like high rep dumbbell shrugs, I get a better pump in my traps than when I'm doing a barbell shrug. So you might want to try those tips to see if they help. All right, let's see what else we got. Give It Your All is joining us. And he's got a question saying, Lee, at the moment, I'm suffering from a rotator cuff. I don't know if you can hear out there. My baby boy and mommy are playing out in the hallway there. And they're, Harvey, open the door, Trish. Trish, just open the door. Let him come on in. Hang on 1 second. Open the door. Where are you two? Come on. Oh, we got Sally joining us. Hey, Sally. Where you two, buddy? Come here. Come here. Make your debut. Oh, my goodness gracious me. Look. Here. You're on the computer. Oh, don't touch that. Don't touch that. There, look, you're on the computer. Yeah, you're on the computer. Do you know that? This is Harvey, everybody. Say hi. Hi. Oh, there you go. That's it. Wave. Wave. Who's that handsome boy on the camera right there? Who's that handsome boy? Yeah, that's you. That's you. Yes, it is. He sees himself on the computer screen. Yeah, that's you. Yeah. That's you, champ. Yes, sir. All right. Now, you're going to go back and play with Mom, and then I'll come up and play with you after? Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's you. That's you. You're a superstar. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. All right. Here, you go get Mom. You go chase her. Go get her. Yeah, you go get her. Come on. Yes, you go get Mom. There you go. All right. So there we go. That's the superstar himself right there. The next generation of total fitness bodybuilding. Where was I? I know I lost my place. Okay, Give It Your All's got a question. All right. Saying, Lee, at the moment, I'm suffering from a rotator cuff. Suffer when I do incline bench press mostly. Is there any way around this? Simple answer. If there's any particular exercise that's causing you pain or discomfort in your shoulder / rotator cuff, then try your best to avoid that particular exercise. Now, I mean, you can do mobility exercises to help strengthen the rotator cuff. And again, I know I'm saying this again. I have a video. Go to just a YouTube search, type in Lee Hayward rotator cuff, and you'll see my video on that. But if you're having trouble with incline bench press, then don't incline bench press. You know, try maybe like a dumbbell press. Try using like a flat or a decline press. Try different chest press machines at the gym. You know, play around with like pec deck flies, cable crossover flies, or push-ups. I mean, there are all kinds of different exercise variations out there. If a particular move is causing you pain or discomfort, or just for whatever reason doesn't feel right, you can do another exercise variation instead. I mean, there are no must-do exercises. I mean, I know like a lot of people think, well, you know, isn't the bench press a must-do exercise? No. I mean, the bench press is a great exercise for some people, and it's a shitty exercise for others. So if you're finding that it's not working for you or it causes pain and discomfort, then try another variation instead. From a personal point of view, I find weighted push-ups or resistance push-ups a far more superior exercise compared to bench press in terms of activating the chest, getting a pump. And there are different ways to go about weighted push-ups. I mean, you can do them with like a resistance band around your back. You can do them with a weighted vest. You could have like a training partner just straddle your back and put their hands on your shoulder blades and provide, you know, a resistance as you're doing your push-ups. There's a lot of ways to go about it, but weighted push-ups is kind of like one of those exercises you hardly ever see anybody do, but it is a killer chest exercise for getting a pump in the pecs. And the cool thing about it, you know, you could start off, obviously just do body weight push-ups to warm up, and then do some weighted push-ups, you know, to really, you know, train yourself to failure with the weighted push-ups. And then you can finish off with more body weight push-ups at the end. and you will get an amazing pump in the chest. And a lot of times push-ups are not as hard on the shoulders and the rotator cuff as, you know, bench presses are. And again, you can experiment with your hand positions, narrow, wider, you know, play with your hand positions to see what feels best for you. A lot of times, if you're having shoulder issues, going probably like a medium width grip and hand your hands twisted out to the sides a little bit like that while you're doing your push-ups with your elbows tucked can take some of the strain off the shoulders. So it's, you know, some things you might want to experiment with. Okay, let's see what else we got. Okay, I got a question here saying, this is David. I'm doing the app called Go Workout to get rid of my belly fat. How often should I do the workout? I'm not familiar with the Go Workout app, so I really don't know what to say about that specific workout. But when it comes to fat loss, I'll just kind of give you some general guidelines. I recommend doing some form of physical exercise every day. Now, it doesn't mean you're doing a full-on, you know, all-out weight training workout every day, but do something every day. And I'll kind of use myself as an example of how I like to go about structuring things. I like to do a heavy weight training workout at least 3 days a week. And then on my off days from weight training, I'll probably do some cardio, be, you know, walking, jogging, cycling, cardio machines at the gym, whatever. I'll also do stretching, and something that I've been doing lately and I really enjoy is yoga. I know a lot of people are thinking, well, yoga, that's kind of a, you know, far out. That's stuff for you know, hippies and you know, whatever. But yoga is phenomenal, and what I find is it really helps to bring your awareness to your body. Because some of these yoga poses, I mean, like you get guys who can squat 500 pounds in the gym, and then they try and hold, you know, a certain yoga pose, you know, and then they'll topple over because they don't have the stability or the core strength or the strength in those small stabilizer muscles to just support their own body weight. You know, it's crazy. So yoga really does bring out a lot of flaws that you may have with your physique. But the cool thing about it is it's a lower intensity exercise. So, I mean, if you wanted to weight train, you know, heavy weights one day and then do some light cardio and yoga the next day, and then heavy weights one day and light yoga and cardio the next day, that would be a great way to get physical exercise every single day so that you're burning calories, elevating your metabolism, getting the metabolic benefits of daily exercise, but you're also getting active recovery. So you're not stressing out your central nervous system from, you know, like pushing yourself weight training 6 or 7 days a week. So you can work out every day, but you need to vary your workouts so that you are factoring in active recovery and allowing your body to rest and recover while still remaining active. So if you want to lose fat, that's one of the things I would recommend. Some form of daily exercise, but again, it doesn't always have to be high intense daily exercise. You know, it's okay to do low intensity exercise in there as well. All right, let's see what else we got. Daniel joining us saying, I've been intermittent fasting recently, seeing weight loss. However, I don't want to lose muscle. Is intermittent fasting going to make me lose my gains? Intermittent fasting is interesting. I mean, it's been around. Intermittent fasting is as old as eating itself. So, I mean, it's nothing new. I know when you go online and you're seeing all these advertisements and videos and articles and blog posts and all this stuff about intermittent fasting, talking about like it's the latest and the greatest. Intermittent fasting is as old as eating itself. All right, you know, like back in the hunter-gatherer days, we didn't have food available to eat 24/7. So, I mean, you couldn't always be snacking on food. You ate when you hunted or caught something or whatever. So you had times of eating, you know, okay, you just went out and killed that big woolly mammoth. So now you got food. All right, once that food's gone, then you could go hours or days or however long with nothing to eat. And then all of a sudden you found more food and you ate. So, you know, intermittent fasting is nothing new. All right, it's been around forever. But it is There are a lot of benefits to it because it gives your digestive system a break from this constant influx of food that, most people are experiencing. The frequent meals, frequent snacks, frequent feeding. It's just bogging down your digestive system, and you never really get a chance to kind of like clear yourself out and give your digestive system a break. When you eat food, it takes about 12 hours for that food to go from your mouth down right out through the poop chute. And if you're eating all the time, every few hours, then you're never really clearing yourself out, right? What I mean, like giving your body a break where it just clears out all the food that's in your system, and you can actually just, you know, burn what's stored around your body in the form of body fat, in the form of, proteins that are not necessary and stuff like that, and just kind of like let your body be. So I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting. I've been doing different variations of intermittent fasting for over a year now, and I really enjoy it. One, I find it super convenient. I mean, you don't have to be a slave to Tupperware and lugging around, your meals with you wherever you go. I mean, so that's one big thing. It's huge freedom. But from a fat loss / muscle building point of view, I mean, obviously, if you do it right, it's a great way to lose fat because it's a good way to control your caloric intake. It's much easier to cut your calories when you just cut your meals rather than trying to eat fewer calories per meal. I found in the past, this whole idea of 6 small meals a day, that would drive me crazy because you're always leaving the table hungry. You're just eating enough food to spike your appetite, and then you have to stop in order to stay within your caloric guidelines. So I like the idea of having fewer, bigger meals where you can eat until you're comfortably full and satisfied, but still be in an overall caloric deficit over the course of, a 24-hour time period. So I like that aspect of it. As far as muscle loss, muscle is not as fragile as a lot of people think. You do not have to eat every 2 hours throughout the day or you're going to lose muscle. Again, it doesn't work that way. And one of the benefits of intermittent fasting is when you get into a fasted state, your body actually spikes its natural growth hormone production. So you're going to see your highest levels of growth hormone when you're in a fasted state. When you eat food and you spike your insulin, then that shuts off your body's natural growth hormone production. So intermittent fasting actually has like a built-in muscle sparing aspect to it in the form of natural growth hormone production. And what matters the most is not so much when you eat your food, but what matters is the total food that you're consuming over the long term. So, I mean, intermittent fasting is just another strategy, but what matters the most is the food you're actually eating. I mean, you still want to eat good quality food, lots of lean protein, lots of vegetables, healthy fats. I mean, focus on that nutrient-dense food. Make that the majority of your diet, and as long as you're doing that, then you can still build muscle and burn fat while following an intermittent fasting program. One of the mistakes that a lot of people make when following something like this is they use it as an excuse to eat whatever they want. And, that's, even though you may, in the short term lose weight from it or whatever, because you're probably eating less total food, it's not a healthy approach. I mean, if you starve yourself all day and then go binge on pizza and potato chips for dinner, you're not moving yourself forward towards your muscle building and fat loss goals. You still need to have that quality muscle building nutrition in there based around natural, unprocessed, wholesome foods. Focus on the quality of the food that you're eating. That still has to be in place. That's the foundation, regardless of what type of diet you're following. Again, intermittent fasting is just a more or less a timing strategy, and it does work. So I mean, to answer your question, you can follow that as long as you're doing it right and you still focus on the quality of nutrition. All right, let's move on. And I know sometimes when I get answering these questions, I can ramble on a bit too long, so I'll try and just move through a bit quicker. Rudy's joining us saying happy Sunday. Well, happy Sunday to you too, Rudy. Alexis saying, Lee, I've been stuck in a bench press plateau for a couple weeks. Do you have any advice to break through it? Also, most of the time I do only incline press. Do I have to change it up? The simple answer is yeah, change it up. I mean, I kind of mentioned this similar strategies. Someone was asking about their squat was stuck. Well, the same thing would apply if your bench press is stuck. If you're always doing the same bench press variation and you're stuck, then change it up. Switch to dumbbells. Switch to different chest exercises entirely, like focus on dips or push-ups. Focus on different angles of pressing. I mean, if you're doing an incline press, try a flat press or a decline press. You can even play around with like power rack lockouts. There's a lot of different variations, but bottom line, when it comes to plateaus, if you're doing the same thing over and over again and you're stuck and it's not working for you anymore, then you need to change it up and provide your body with some unique muscle stimulation. Single limb training would be a good one. Again, I have, if you go to my main YouTube channel and open up the playlists there and go to the single limb training playlist, there's a full playlist there of chest exercises that use single limb exercises. One arm dumbbell bench presses, one arm push-ups, one arm cable crossover flies, and things like that. And doing these single limb exercises, as you get stronger with single limb exercises, they will carry over and make you even stronger in your double limb exercises. So that's a good strategy that you can incorporate. Okay, what else? We got the Red Devils 22 saying, any advice on what I can do to get rid of my inflamed bruisea in my shoulder? Can I train? It absolutely kills. All right, you got inflamed. All right, your shoulders. Something like this. I do have a video about shoulder injuries and rehab exercises. If you go to YouTube, search for Lee Hayward rotator cuff training, you'll find it. But depending on what you've got done with your shoulders, I mean, different strategies would apply. I mean, you might want to go check it out with a physiotherapist if you haven't, preferably one who's used to dealing with people who are athletes or people who are into weight training, not just your general physiotherapist. Look for someone who has some real world experience behind them. I know when I mention physiotherapist to people, I always kind of get a mixed reaction. Like some people think, they roll their eyes and say, oh, Jesus, you're not going to recommend a physiotherapist. They don't know anything. And then you get other physiotherapists who are like brilliant and know the body inside out, so it depends on the quality of person you're getting here. But if you can get checked out by a physiotherapist who's used to working with athletes and people who are involved with strength sports, they can really help to diagnose what's going on and give you some good solutions. I know when I've had some of my injuries in the past, like, torn biceps and things like that, I did go and see physiotherapists, advanced physiotherapists, if you will, and they did give me some really good advice and helpful exercises that I could do to help rehab some of those injuries. So that's one of the things I would recommend. Other things that you can look into when it comes to inflammation in general, your diet has a huge role to play in inflammation. The foods that you're eating, a lot of people are eating too many foods that are causing inflammation. So, for example, omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Most people are not getting enough omega-3s in their diet, and omega-3s are an anti-inflammatory fat. They have anti-inflammatory properties. Omega-6 have pro-inflammatory properties. So if you balance out the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3s, and usually that involves supplementing with omega-3 fatty acids and purposely going out of your way to eat foods that are higher in omega-3, fatty fish, flax seeds, flax oil, walnuts, chia seeds, hemp hearts, things like that are really high in omega-3s. But supplementing fish oil supplements, a great way to do it. And when it comes to omega-3s, like, don't be skimpy on it. Like, a one-a-day fish oil capsule is not really going to do diddly squat. You need to actually consume a fair bit of it in order to get some benefit from it. So, flaxseed oil and fish oil are probably two of the best concentrated sources of omega-3s. And, if you add that to your diet in relatively high amounts, like when I'm talking about fish oil, I'd look for like a high concentrated fish oil supplement and probably look at taking, upwards of 20 capsules a day, spaced out throughout the day with your meals. And, when it comes to flaxseed oil, take, 3 or 4 tablespoons of flaxseed oil a day. And if you have that in there, that will help to, you might want to like overkill it initially to kind of help to balance out the ratio, but then you can scale it back as you notice the benefits. But if you're deficient in omega-3s, then you definitely want to kind of balance things out. And especially if you're dealing with inflammation, then it might help. So that's something that you can look into from a nutritional standpoint. Really bump up fish oil and flaxseed oil in your diet. I like to take both because they both have different nutritional properties. And it can help to reduce inflammation and joint pain and all that, not just in your shoulders, but all over as well. And as a side benefit, it's also good for muscle building and fat loss as well. All right, let's move on. See what else we got. Exercises for glutes to strengthen and boost the squat. This one's from Giannis, I believe, Giannis, Giannis. I would recommend single limb exercises. Again, I know I mentioned this several times in the chat already, but things like lunges, step-ups, split squats, some of those are the best exercises I find for really activating the glutes, as well as helping to develop strength that's going to carry over into your squats. So single limb leg exercises like that would be a definite, a definite asset to your leg workouts. Grant is joining us saying, I mix protein powder in my oatmeal along with leucine and creatine. Not sure if that was a question or just a comment. I mean, I do it all the time. I actually really enjoy it. I find oatmeal is boring without any protein powder. I mean, that's my flavor to it now, right? So I'll mix up my oatmeal, and once it's mixed, and I let it cool for a couple minutes, and then I'll mix in the protein powder afterwards, and I find it just gives it a nice flavor. If you're feeling real creative, you can throw in some berries, like blueberries or something with it as well, to kind of bit more antioxidants and a bit more variety. But yeah, protein oatmeal, can't beat it. Let's see. All right, some of these questions are a bit repetitive. And Zembi says, I've been training for 5 months. I've been able to gain 10 pounds of muscle. I've kept the same body fat percentage, but now I've reached a plateau. When you've reached a plateau, again, it's inevitable. Anytime you stick to a set training program for any prolonged period of time, your body is eventually going to plateau. Whenever you follow a program, your body goes through these phases. It adapts to the program, it grows in response to the program, and then eventually it plateaus because, again, you're providing the same stimulation. So once you hit a plateau, then you need to change things up and provide yourself with some unique muscle stimulation. Now, there's a lot of ways to go about that, but bottom line, some sort of change. Could be changing your set and rep pattern, could be changing the exercises itself, could be changing your body part split. If you're doing a total body workout, you could probably change to a split routine. If you're doing a split routine, you could probably change to a total body, or maybe like an upper lower body split. There's all kinds of different ways to go about it. But bottom line, you need to provide some sort of unique muscle stimulation to help encourage your body to, grow and then adapt and plateau all over again to this new approach. If you want some help with this, what I would recommend is through the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Inner Circle Coaching Club. This is my private members only website. And as a member, you get access to our Workout of the Month program. And the way this is, it's a new workout program every single month, and they're designed to be complementary of one another. So the program that you're following this month is a follow-up to the program that we had last month, and it provides your body with unique muscle stimulation and emphasizes different training variables. So for example, one month it might be a strength and power program. The next month it might be some sort of conditioning style of program. The next month it might be, more of a higher volume bodybuilding style program. And we go through these different training modalities and different training variables in order to keep your body, I guess, providing that unique muscle stimulation, but to prevent it from getting, adapting and plateauing to the same form of stimulation over and over again. So we try to use different styles of training and pair them up in a complementary fashion so that you can continue making progress not only providing unique muscle stimulation, but unique mental stimulation as well, because it can get a bit boring if you're doing the same stuff over and over again. It keeps your workouts fun and engaging when you're doing different exercises and different styles of training. So not only is it beneficial from a muscle building point of view, but it's fun as well. It keeps things fun and enjoyable. So again, if you'd like some help with that, just head on over to totalfitnessbodybuilding.com and sign up for the Inner Circle. All right, Andy's joining us, and he says, Leah started working out 16 months ago, started at 406 pounds, and now I weigh 220 pounds. First off, man, that is a huge, huge accomplishment. Congrats. That is massive. All right, any thoughts on how I can build muscle and not gain weight at the age of 46? When it comes to I mean, obviously, I don't know what you've been doing as far as diet and training, but, you know, it's working for you, obviously. I mean, you know, you lost almost 200, well, no, yeah, almost 200 pounds, which is massively huge. That's like literally you've lost the weight of a full person, basically, in terms of excess body fat. What I would suggest, you know, this is something I suggest to people who go from, you know, a fat loss program and now they want to kind of focus on a clean, lean gain program. Still stick to the same principles that you've been following up until this point. You know, whatever it is you've been doing in terms of your cardio and your nutrition and stuff like that, still focus on the same basic principles. But all you want to do now is probably bump up your caloric intake just a little bit, so that you're now in probably like a maintenance calories rather than a calorie deficit. And this will help to provide you with a little bit of extra energy that can go towards, you know, muscle growth, because you'll still be able to burn stored body fat, right? I mean, chances are, even though you're 220 pounds, you probably still have some more body fat that you could stand to lose as well. So just slightly increasing your caloric intake, probably a little bit more carbohydrates. I mean, if you've been following like a low carb diet, for example, then maybe like bump up your carbohydrates a little bit. Make sure that you're consuming at least 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body weight, somewhere around ½ a gram of fat per pound of body weight. It's a good range to be in. And focus on a well-balanced diet. A lot of times I recommend people to shoot for like 1/3 of your calories from protein, 1/3 of your calories from carbs, and 1/3 of your calories from fat. That well-balanced approach works really well for most people. And just be in either a calorie maintenance or probably even a very slight surplus. In fact, I would probably even err on the side of just trying to have calorie maintenance instead. And that should provide you with enough energy so that you can train hard in the gym and feel that you are replenishing yourself rather than being in a deficit and a depleted state. Because when you're in a fat loss state, obviously you are in a depleted state. That's why you're tapping in and burning stored fat for fuel. But if you can be in a maintenance state, then now you're replenishing the energy that you're burning through your workouts, and you can actually use that energy towards building some new lean muscle tissue without you know, gaining the excess body fat back. Because it's very easy to, you know, you lost a lot of weight. If you get slack with your diet now and slacken up on those habits and the lifestyle that you've been living, you know, for the last 16 months, if you get slack on that, you can very easily bloom back up to, you know, 300-400 pounds again. And you don't want to do that, you know, so you need to be strict and keep your focus, but just make some very small changes so that you just tip the scale in favor of lean muscle growth rather than fat loss. All right, let's move on. I'm going to answer a few more questions, and then I'm going to clue it up. I know there's a ton of questions coming through, and there's no way I'm going to be able to answer them all, but I'll do the best that I can. Okay, Dustin's joining us, and he says, I recently had a lifestyle change. I'm an over-the-road truck driver, and I don't want to lose my progress. I try to stay lean. What would you recommend diet-wise for a sedentary lifestyle? Well, first off, I would try and encourage you to be as unsedentary as possible. Try and do something that you can, you know, keep yourself active. I mean, even if you are a truck driver, you know, most major cities that you go to will have some form of fitness center, you know, that you can go to. I mean, pretty much every town has a gym of some sort, and pretty much every gym will allow you to buy a day pass if you ask. So even if you're on the road, even if you're traveling, you know, you should still be able to get in some workouts, right? You know, which will keep you active, and that's critical. If you don't have access to a gym, let's just say you're driving somewhere and you're out in the middle of Timbuktu and there's no gym available, or you roll in late at night and the gym is closed, something like that. Whatever the situation is. Another alternative that you can do is to have some exercise equipment with you. And what I'd recommend for traveling is something like rubber fitness bands. A company that makes really good ones that I recommend is Bodyelastics, bodyelasticbands.com, if you want to check them out. That's a good alternative because you can do a lot of exercises with rubber fitness bands. I mean, it's not necessarily, I guess, the optimal solution. I mean, obviously the optimal solution would be to have a fully equipped gym, but if you're in a jam and you don't have access to a gym, then you can still get in a decent workout with body weight exercises and rubber fitness bands. And I have several videos on YouTube showing different variations like that. So that would be something that you can do to keep yourself active even when you're on the road. Now, as far as your diet's concerned, wherever you go to eat, you know, you're still in control for the most part. I mean, you're in control of what you eat. You don't always have to eat what's on the menu or, you know, the greasy spoon diner. You know, you can choose healthy food options, and more places are making healthy food options available. Right? You can go and you can order things like, you know, a fresh garden salad with a chicken breast and, you know, have a lean, low carb meal if you want. You know, you don't always have to have the you know, the burger and fries or the whatever the greasy special of the day is. You can choose healthy diet options. That would be the biggest thing is better choices, planning ahead whenever possible, and also having food with you. You know, especially healthy food options with you that are, you know, ideal for traveling. Some things like nuts, like raw almonds, raw walnuts. These are good for quick snack foods, and of course you can keep them with you anywhere. Protein powder, greens powder. These are things that you can have with you in your truck at all times. And I mean, if you were stuck in a jam and never had a healthy meal available, you could have like a handful of, you know, walnuts, a protein shake, and some greens powder mixed together, and you could get some healthy fat, you know, your protein and your veggies, and all in one shot. So nutritionally, you're getting what your body needs without having to resort to, you know, going through a drive-through and ordering a burger and fries or something like that. Other places that provide, you know, quick, convenient food, like Subway. You know, most places you go to will have like a Subway restaurant. And you can go in there and order like a chicken salad or you know, a turkey breast salad or something like that, tuna salad. So you're getting some veggies and some lean protein in there as well. You know, that's when I'm on the road and you know, eating out. A lot of times, if I need to get something quick and healthy, I'll run in and get a salad with a chicken breast at Subway. I mean, it's simple and it's convenient, and like I say, most places have that available. So those are some tips that you can use. I mean, bottom line, it comes down to planning ahead and not giving in. You know, I mean, if you give in and you're always eating, you know, restaurant food and processed food and junk food and stuff like that, then obviously you're going to pile on the weight and you just suffer the consequences. But realize that every time you do anything, whether it's working out or eating or whatever it is you're doing is either moving you closer towards your goals or it's holding you back. So, I mean, before you eat something, before it goes in your mouth, just stop and think for a minute. Okay, is this going to help me move towards my goals or not? You know, and if it's, you know, a bag of potato chips and a chocolate bar, probably not. You know, that's not going to help you move towards your goals. But if it's, you know, like say a chicken breast and a garden salad, you know, and a cup of green tea, then hey, maybe that's going to move you towards your goals. So it's just always making these little tiny in the moment decisions. You know, is this helping or is this hindering me? And always try and tip the scale so that you're doing more stuff to help rather than to hinder. All right, let's move on. What else we got here? Okay, some of these are repetitive questions. All right. Samuel's got a question here saying, Lee, how do I continue to keep muscle mass while going through a minor injury like elbow joints? Not sure if you mean like tennis elbow or something like that. Samuel, he's actually a member of the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Inner Circle, so it's cool to see you joining us for the video chat. I've suffered various joint injuries over the year. They're kind of weird whether you call it an injury or not, but it's joint pain, like tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, inflammation in the knees or the hips or something like that. But when you're dealing with stuff like that, first off, nutritionally, like I mentioned before, making sure that you are eating foods that are going to be anti-inflammatory rather than pro-inflammatory. So keeping things in balance, like your omega-3s, and minimizing processed foods and all that kind of stuff is definitely going to help. But as far as your workouts themselves, if there's any exercise that causes particular pain, and if you're having elbow issues, like if it's tennis elbow or golfer's elbow or whatever, there's probably certain exercises that hurt like hell, and there's other exercises that you can actually go through the motions with very little pain at all. So experiment with your workouts and experiment with different variations to see what exercises you can do without causing pain and discomfort, and modify your workouts accordingly. So even if there's certain exercises, like for example, I used to find like maybe training biceps, for example, if I tried to do straight barbell curls, that would just kill my elbows, couldn't do it. But I would be able to do an easy bar curl, or maybe like a dumbbell hammer curl. I could do those variations instead. Well, then I would swap out those and just do the exercises that were comfortable for me. When it comes to, maybe certain tricep exercises, sometimes, if I was doing, say, like I found a lot of times cable exercises, like cable push downs and stuff like that, were more easier on the joints than barbell exercises. So like rather than doing, say, like a lying barbell tricep extension, which I found hard on the elbows, I probably do like a rope push down, and I found that was easier on the elbow joints. So just experiment with different movements and try and find substitutions for any particular exercise that's causing you pain or discomfort. And again, it's going to vary from person to person, but there might be some universal exercises that cause pain and discomfort for you. And bottom line, if an exercise hurts, don't do it. Even if it's, some big major exercise that you think you should be doing, like, if a bench press hurts, don't bench press. If a deadlift hurts, don't deadlift. If whatever, I mean, you don't have to do an exercise because it's, a big barbell lift. You can swap it out and even substitute isolation exercises, machine exercises, and they will be suitable. I mean, the bottom line is that you're still working the muscles, but not causing pain and aggravation to your joints. Other things that you might want to look into as well is various rubber fitness band exercises. Like sometimes you might try to do an exercise with free weights or, barbells or dumbbells, and it causes pain or discomfort, but you could do a similar movement with a rubber fitness band, or maybe even like a cable machine at the gym, and it doesn't cause the same aggravation to your joints as the free weights do. So you might want to experiment with free weights machines as well as rubber fitness tubing to see what you can do to work around injuries. All right, so like I say, hopefully that helps. And if you do have any other specific questions related to that, you feel free to contact me through the Total Fitness Bodybuilding members forum, and I'll be more than happy to assist you. Okay. We got Per Peterson saying, Lee, I only have Monday to Friday to work out. What's your opinion on upper lower split? Do you think a full body program is better? Well, first of all, Monday to Friday, I mean, that's 5 days a week, right? You're pretty much covered. You don't need to work out any more than that. 5 days a week is more than enough. As far as the training split, you know what? There's really no right or wrong way to go about it. There's advantages to full body programs. There's advantages to an upper lower split, and there's advantages to a full on body part split. I personally like to cycle my training. So, if you're looking for I guess the next best program, look at what you've been doing for the last several weeks and try and do the complete opposite. So, for example, if you've been doing a total body workout for the last several weeks, then try an upper-lower split or a body part split. And vice versa, if you've been doing a body part split for the last several weeks, and hey, why not try like a full body workout? And what you'll find is when you change your approach, after you've been doing something for a prolonged period of time and your body is adapted and is starting to plateau to that, once you change your approach and do something different, then that just spurs on new muscle stimulation, and it also spurs on new mental stimulation to help to basically re-engage you with your workouts and make them more fun and enjoyable. So if you're looking for the best workout split or the best workout program, I would recommend trying to do something that is totally opposite of what you've been currently doing and that you're basically getting bored with. Try and find something different. And in the process of change, your body will go through that unique muscle stimulation. It'll have to adapt and grow in response to that new program. And then eventually you'll hit a plateau with that. And that'll become, the old boring routine. And you'll have to change it up and do something different. All right, let's move on. What else we got? Tip Top is joining us, and he says, how long to see results? I'm starting weights from day one. Well, this is your first day of working out. Well, I want to congratulate you for that. Like they say, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and I guess the journey of a muscular physique begins with a single workout. So good for you. You started on day one. To put it in perspective, I want you to have a long-term vision with this. We're going to be constantly bombarded with, again, as I mentioned earlier, the Get Ripped Quick program, and you're going to see, like a 6-week transformation or a 12-week transformation, and you're going to see all this kind of stuff. I would rather you, kind of put that out of your mind and focus on 1 year, right? Have that in your mind. Say, look, I'm going to do this for a full year. And I can guarantee you, if you are consistent with your workouts, this time next year, you will be amazed at the changes you've made in your body, your overall health and fitness, and how you feel about yourself. But have that long-term mentality. I know a lot of people try and get the quick fix solution mentality, and we're always looking for, how fast can I see progress? But basically, just take a step back and look at this as I'm making a lifestyle change here. I'm going to implement diet and exercise as a lifestyle change for 2018 and see how good of progress you can make over the entire year of 2018. So, next January 28th, mark it down in your journal or set a reminder on your phone or something like that, so that exactly 1 year from now, you can look back and say, whoa, look at the progress that I've made over the past year. Rather than trying to say, how much progress you're going to make over the course of a week or a month or some short-term goal like that. Because it really, even though you are physically making progress, it's not enough of a noticeable change to really, give you that worthwhile motivation, if you will. I mean, if you're looking for that quick fix, listen to Harvey out there again. If you're looking for that quick fix, like you say, oh, I'm going to work out and I want to lose 10 pounds in 10 days or something like that, then, forget it. Again, that short-term quick fix mentality never lasts long-term. But if you can make some lasting habits and just be consistent with those habits, then you'll see big changes over the long term. Let's see what else. There's a lot of questions here. Dan is saying, looks like I've slimmed down a bit. Yeah, I am purposely trying to slim down a bit. That's one of my goals for this year. I'm just trying to, lean out and be a more healthy, athletic, more agile overall, rather than just, I guess, big and bulky. My fat powerlifter days are behind me. I don't want to be nothing against powerlifters. I know you don't have to get fat to be a powerlifter, but I in my heavy training bulk up days, I did purposely, gain some excess weight in the process, and I try not to do that. So I am trying to slim down a bit. Kenneth is saying, hey, thanks, Lee. You pretty much answered all my questions. Good. I appreciate that. Thanks for the feedback. I'm glad you found it helpful. I know there were some questions in there that I skipped and went through because there were some repetitive questions and that, but obviously there's no way I can answer them all in a single video chat. But I do appreciate those of you who tuned in, and I do appreciate the questions that came through. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to clue it up. The replay of this video chat will be posted on the Total Fitness Bodybuilding YouTube channel. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it probably tomorrow, is I'll go through the entire video and I'll timestamp all the different questions. So if there's, rather than having to watch, you know, an hour-long video or however long this happens to be, probably much more than that, I don't know. But I'm going to timestamp all the questions so that you can go through the description box below the video and say, hey, okay, this is when he answered such and such a question. And you can skip through the video that way to find the specific topics that interest you the most. So again, thanks for your support and feedback, and thanks for tuning in and posting your questions. Hopefully I'll do another one of these very soon and not have a big, long gap between videos like I just recently did. I know it was a few-week gap before between my last video and now. Try not to do that in the future. I try to keep it more consistent, and of course more consistent with live video chats like these. So thanks again for your support, and I'll look forward to talking to you in the next video chat. Take care. Over and out.